Good morning, third grade, and happy Monday. So, we're going to continue talking about third grade geometry, describing polygons, line segments, and how we can now describe what the sides of a polygon are. So, let's discover what we have to do. So if we have a polygon, we can describe the sides using different math terms, okay? So we've talked about that these are line segments, and because there's 4 line segments and 4 angles, that would be a quadrilateral. So the question is asking us how many sides of the polygon are parallel. First, we have to make sure that this is a polygon. So remember, a polygon is a closed shape made up of line segments that meet at their endpoints. The endpoints are called angles, right? So we make angles, and now we have different types of line segments and what they're called, okay? So we know this is a polygon, so we have 3 different lines that we want to start talking about. The first is called intersecting lines. Intersecting lines cross to make angles. Do you see how these lines cross and make 1, 2, 3, 4 angles? So intersecting lines are going to create angles, okay? The next option that we have are what's called perpendicular lines, okay? Now, a perpendicular line is, again, intersecting, but it's specifically going to make a right angle. They're going to cross in a way that makes a perfect right angle. Do you remember that right angles have that little square to show that they're right angles? These ones are less than a right angle, and these ones are more than a right angle. So intersecting lines make angles that are not right, and perpendicular lines are going to make those right angles. Finally, our last pair of lines are called parallel lines. Parallel lines never cross. They are the same distance apart at every point of the lines. They are not going to make any angles. So parallel lines are not going to make any angles, and they are the same distance apart at every point of the line. Okay? So now that we know the 3 types of lines that we can use to make a polygon, let's talk about our shape. So here we have the blue and the red line segments. Do you see the blue and the red line segments? So the question is, are those parallel lines? Are those intersecting lines? Or are those perpendicular? Now, this angle doesn't look like I'm going to make that perfect little square that I need to make a right angle. So the blue and right line segments are what's called intersecting. Do you see how it makes an angle that isn't quite right? So the blue and red line segments are what's called intersecting. The orange and blue line segments are, if I have the blue line segment and the orange line segment, is that intersecting, parallel, or perpendicular? The answer is perpendicular, because can you see that I can make a nice squared right angle using those 2 line segments? Yes, the angle is a right angle, so that means that those are called perpendicular. Finally, what about the blue and the green line segments? Do they look like they're going to cross? Nope. Are they going to cross to make a right angle? No. So the blue and green line segments are parallel. Do you see how these lines are the same distance apart here and here and here? Even if I extended this line segment, like it's shown here, these lines will never, ever cross. So we don't say that there are 2 line segments that are parallel. We just call it a pair. So the polygon has 1 pair of parallel sides because there's 2 in a pair. Okay? So this is intersecting This is perpendicular, and these two lines are parallel. Okay, so let's talk about another option. So let's look at the green sides of the polygon. Do they appear to be intersecting, perpendicular, or parallel? Intersecting means they're going to cross to make an angle. Parallel means they're never going to cross. And perpendicular means they're going to make an angle that is only a right angle. So, is this a right angle? Can I put a nice little square here? No, that's going to make a funny looking shape. Are these lines crossing? Yes, they're touching. So I made an angle, which means they're not parallel. So these two sides are called intersecting. Okay, it made an angle, but the angle is not perpendicular. Awesome. Let's talk about these two lines. Are these two lines looking like they're ever going to intersect or cross? Doesn't look like it. So if two lines are not going to cross ever or cross to make a right angle, those are called parallel lines. This is one pair of parallel lines. Nowhere in this line are they ever going to cross. Easy. When you know they're not going to cross, that's only one option. How about these two green sides? Are they crossing? Do they touch? Yes. So they cannot be parallel. So that takes away parallel. But we need to figure out if they intersect and make an angle or if they intersect to make a right angle. Okay? This, if I make a little square, would look like I made a perfect right angle. They cross in a perfect little T, which makes a perpendicular pair. Oops. So that's our last example. 3 different types of lines. Intersecting makes any type of angle. Perpendicular makes a right angle, and parallel never touch. So now you're going to be doing your math trainer, and you're going to be doing a couple more examples of that. Now remember, kids, I would do a little refresher on 12.1 through 12.4 because you have a quiz tomorrow. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night.